There's something thrilling about watching a self-proclaimed master get a brutal wake-up call from a real fighter. These fake masters, with their exaggerated stances and over-the-top moves, look impressive until they face someone with real skill. Some self-proclaimed masters claim they can win a fight with just one finger, a look, or even the wave of a hand. It's a humbling moment when all the flashy tricks fall flat against years of genuine training and discipline. Let's look into the moments when reality struck hard for these frauds in 15 times fake masters got destroyed by real fighters. Number 15. Bruce Lee's no-touch demonstration disproven by real fighters. This self-proclaimed master believed his no-touch knockout was unbeatable, but his next opponent didn't seem the least bit impressed. Here's how that magic quickly faded. In the heat of a real fight, the legendary martial artist Bruce Lee strongly opposed these supernatural claims, describing them as fancy messes that diminish the true essence of combat arts. The strange practice of no-touch techniques came from various traditional martial arts schools, where masters claimed to use invisible energy fields to incapacitate opponents without physical contact. These demonstrations often featured willing students dramatically falling to the ground, seemingly knocked out by their master's mystical powers. Real fighting champions have consistently exposed these theatrical displays. Royce Gracie, the Brazilian jiu-jitsu pioneer, challenged several no-touch masters to prove their abilities in actual combat situations. Mike Tyson famously remarked, "Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face," a statement that perfectly captures the reality check these masters faced. A particularly memorable incident occurred when George Dillman, a self-proclaimed no-touch knockout expert, accepted a challenge from an amateur MMA fighter in 2009. Dillman's confidence in his ability to disable opponents without touching them quickly evaporated when the MMA fighter closed the distance. The ensuing exchange lasted mere seconds. A swift combination of punches sent Dillman stumbling backward, his mystical defenses proving utterly ineffective against real combat techniques. The fallout from these encounters rippled through the martial arts community. Video footage of failed no-touch demonstrations spread rapidly across social media platforms, turning these once revered masters into cautionary tales. Bruce Lee's early skepticism proved prophetic, that authentic martial arts excellence comes from dedicated training, practical application, and honest evaluation of techniques under pressure. But that's not the only master whose techniques failed under pressure. Next up, a ninjutsu practitioner finds himself outmatched by a real fighter with zero patience for theatrics. Number 14, Xu Xiaodong vs. Wei, 2017. To kick things off, we start with a fighter whose aim is to unearth fake masters. What happens when a so-called Kung Fu Grandmaster meets an MMA fighter in a no-holds-barred showdown? Let's just say the Grandmaster's ancient techniques weren't prepared for the real world. Xu Xiaodong, an experienced MMA fighter known for speaking his mind, was getting more and more fed up with what he saw as fake claims in traditional martial arts. Wei, a Tai Chi master, claimed that his ancient art could defeat any modern fighting style. His bold statements caught Xu's attention, leading to a challenge that would shake the very foundations of traditional Chinese martial arts. The stage was set in Changzhou, China, where curious spectators gathered to witness this clash of old versus new, Wei stood confidently in his traditional Tai Chi stance, hands positioned in the classic ward-off posture. On the other hand, Xu Xiaodong wore MMA shorts and gloves, adopting a more practical fighting stance. What happened next left the audience stunned. Between 0 to 3 seconds, Wei attempts to maintain his defensive Tai Chi posture. During the interval of 3 to 7 seconds, Xu closes the distance with aggressive forward movement. In the next 3 seconds, a brutal combination of punches sends Wei crashing to the ground. The fight ended in a mere 10 seconds. Wei's traditional techniques proved completely ineffective against Xu's trained strikes. The Tai Chi master lay defeated, his claims of martial superiority shattered on the cold gymnasium floor. The aftermath sparked intense controversy throughout China. Traditional martial arts practitioners condemned Xu as a traitor to Chinese culture, while others praised him for exposing fraudulent claims. The Chinese government even stepped in, restricting Xu's social media presence and forcing him to fight future matches wearing clown makeup in a bizarre attempt to discredit his message. If you thought that was intense, wait till you see what happens when a Tai Chi master squares off against a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu expert. Things are about to get messy. Number 13. The fight between MMA fighter and Wing Chun master Ding Hao. When a traditional martial artist crosses paths with a cage fighter, tradition meets the test of reality. Can ancient techniques stand up to modern force? Let's find out. In the vibrant martial arts scene of Shanghai, Wing Chun master Ding Hao confidently stood in front of cameras, showcasing complex hand movements and proclaiming the superiority of traditional Chinese martial arts. His challenge to MMA fighters spread like wildfire on social media, catching the attention of Peter Irving, a professional MMA fighter skilled in Muay Thai and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. The stage was set at a local gymnasium, where Ding Hao arrived wearing traditional Chinese martial arts attire. He confidently displayed his Wing Chun techniques to spectators, explaining how the art's close-range combat principles would prove effective against modern fighting styles. The fight revealed a stark reality. Within seconds of the opening bell, Irving's basic jab-cross combination penetrated Ding's traditional Wing Chun guard, the supposedly impenetrable centerline defense, a cornerstone of Wing Chun's philosophy. It crumbled against Irving's measured pressure and footwork. Ding attempted to employ Chi Sao, Wing Chun's signature sticky hands technique, but found himself unable to bridge the distance against Irving's calculated striking. A swift left kick sent Ding stumbling backward, his traditional stance breaking down under real combat pressure. The referee stopped the fight at 47 seconds into the first round. Ding Hao, sporting a bloody nose and bruised ego, faced the harsh reality that his decades of Wing Chun training had left him unprepared for modern combat sports. And just when you thought you'd seen it all, here comes a kung fu master who thinks he's insusceptible to any form of pain. Number 12. Xu Xiaodong vs. Chen Yong, 2019. Imagine a seasoned Tai Chi master stepping into the ring, confident that his mystical moves can defeat a brutal kickboxer. You won't believe how fast his confidence crumbled. Chen Yong's social media presence portrayed him as an invincible warrior, capable of using ancient Chinese fighting wisdom to defeat any modern combat style. Chen's viral videos showcased intricate forms and mystical demonstrations, attracting thousands of views and supporters who believed in his superiority over contemporary fighting methods. As expected, Xu Xiaodong, notorious for exposing fraudulent martial artists, accepted Chen's challenge. In his pre-fight interviews, Chen exuded confidence, asserting that his traditional stance work and chi manipulation would be too advanced for Xu's primitive MMA approach. However, the reality turned out to be quite different. When the fight began, Chen took his traditional Tai Chi stance, moving his hands in circular motions. Shu, unfazed by the display, quickly closed the distance with practiced efficiency. It became immediately clear that their approaches were worlds apart, as Chen's flowing movements were ineffective against Shu's direct strikes. Traditional stances crumbled under the pressure of real combat, and Chen's defensive techniques failed to block basic combinations. Within just 30 seconds, Shu had Chen backed against the cage. A swift combination of punches broke through Chen's guard, sending him stumbling backward. Moments later, a clean right hook followed by a left straight sent Chen crashing to the canvas. The referee intervened at the 45-second mark, marking another victory for practical combat techniques over traditional showmanship. This fight further fueled Xu Xiaodong's campaign against martial arts frauds, exposing the gap between choreographed demonstrations and actual fighting ability. It seems like every master has their day of reckoning, and this next so-called ghost punch expert didn't expect to get a taste of his own medicine. Number 11, Xu Xiaodong vs. Lei Lai, 2018.
Okay, clinching up. Takedown.
There are pressure points that claim to stop any fighter in their tracks. One wrestler decided to test that theory, and what happened next left the audience stunned. The martial arts community was buzzing with excitement as Xu Xiaodong prepared to face yet another self-proclaimed master, Lei Lai, a Tai Chi practitioner who claimed to have mastered the art of Chi energy manipulation. He boldly stepped into the spotlight, making extravagant claims about his supernatural abilities to defeat opponents without even touching them. Lei Lai's pre-fight demonstrations raised eyebrows among seasoned fighters. He showcased intricate movements, asserting that he could control invisible forces capable of incapacitating attackers from afar, while his followers hailed these displays as evidence of his advanced martial arts prowess. Skeptics, however, questioned the theatrical nature of his techniques. The actual fight told a different story. As Lei Lai attempted his signature energy projection techniques, Xu Xiaodong closed the distance within seconds with a swift combination of punches that sent Lei Lai stumbling. The clash between modern combat sports and traditional mysticism was undeniable. Lei Lai's energy manipulation proved useless against Xu's straightforward mixed martial arts approach. The self-proclaimed master found himself overwhelmed by basic boxing combinations and wrestling techniques, leaving no room for theatrics. Following the match, young martial arts enthusiasts began questioning the validity of energy-based fighting claims. Traditional martial arts schools faced mounting pressure to showcase practical applications of their techniques instead of relying on mystical explanations. This encounter dealt another significant blow to the credibility of practitioners who depended on supernatural claims rather than demonstrable fighting skills. We're only halfway through, but these losses keep getting worse. The next victim met the reality of his manipulation techniques. Number 10, MMA versus fake iron shirt Kung Fu master. The mystical art of Iron Shirt Kung Fu captured imaginations with its extraordinary claims, where practitioners supposedly develop an impenetrable body capable of withstanding devastating strikes without injury. These masters demonstrated their abilities through choreographed performances, breaking bricks against their bodies and absorbing powerful hits from their students. In 2018, several self-proclaimed Iron Shirt masters stepped into the spotlight, challenging MMA fighters to test their supernatural defensive abilities. What unfolded next became a revelation of reality versus myth, The first documented encounter featured Master Lu, who claimed his chi energy created an invisible force field around his body. Facing an amateur MMA fighter, Lu stood confidently. In his traditional stance, arms crossed, the MMA fighter launched a basic combination, a jab followed by a cross, and Lu crumpled instantly, his supposed iron defense shattering under basic striking techniques. The aftermath rippled through martial arts communities worldwide. Video footage of these encounters spread rapidly across social media platforms, garnering millions of views. Traditional Iron Shirt schools faced intense scrutiny as their core teachings unraveled under real combat conditions. Up next, we'll witness how pressure points fare against real strength and determination as a wrestler enters the scene. Number 9. Xu Xiaodong versus Chen Xiaowang's disciples.
Plenty of people out there who claim to be masters.
Will Tai Chi's calm and meditative approach hold up against an aggressive boxer? Get ready for a clash of philosophies with a brutal ending. Anticipation grew in the camp of Chen Xiaowang, a renowned Tai Chi grandmaster and inheritor of the Chen-style Tai Chi lineage, as he stepped into the spotlight. His disciples, armed with years of traditional training and unwavering confidence, eagerly accepted challenges from the controversial MMA fighter Xu Xiaodong. This led to a series of matches that left the traditional martial arts community reeling. Xu systematically dismantled Chen's disciples. The first disciple lasted barely 30 seconds before succumbing to a barrage of basic strikes. A second challenger attempted to use pushing hands techniques, managing to land a few punches only to be taken down and submitted. The third bout ended with another quick knockout, exposing the gap between traditional forms and practical combat. The elaborate movements and philosophical underpinnings of Chen-style Tai Chi proved ineffective against modern fighting techniques. The disciples' defeats resonated deeply within martial arts circles, sparking heated debates about the authenticity of traditional combat claims. Chen Xiaowang's response only fueled the controversy. Rather than acknowledging the limitations of traditional Tai Chi in modern combat scenarios, he dismissed Xu's victories as lucky and claimed his disciples hadn't properly understood the art's true essence. For those who thought Tai Chi was unbeatable, this next bout with a kickboxer may come as a shock. Brace yourself for a one-sided match. Number 8. Muay Thai versus Chi Manipulation Master. In the dimly lit martial arts studio in Beijing, Master Zhang stood confidently before a crowd of devoted followers, demonstrating his mastery of chi manipulation. His hands moved through the air with theatrical flourishes as he claimed to harness ancient Chinese energy forces capable of subduing any opponent without physical contact. Master Zhang's reputation had grown through carefully orchestrated demonstrations, where his students would fall dramatically at the slightest wave of his hand. His bold claims caught the attention of Thai fighter Somchai Jae, a seasoned Muay Thai practitioner with over 100 professional fights under his belt. The matchup drew significant attention across all spheres, with Master Zhang assuring his followers that his chi techniques would prove superior to crude physical combat. The stage was set at a local sports center, where hundreds gathered to witness this clash of philosophies. As the bell rang, Master Zhang assumed his stance, hands raised in traditional fashion. Somchai approached cautiously, respecting traditional martial arts while maintaining his fighting guard. Master Zhang attempted his signature energy push, a movement that had supposedly sent countless students flying across rooms. What followed was a brutal display of Muay Thai's effectiveness. Somchai's first leg kick landed with devastating impact, causing Master Zhang to stumble. A follow-up combination of punches found their mark with surgical precision. Master Zhang's attempts to channel Qi proved futile against Somchai's concrete reality of elbow strikes and knee thrusts. The referee stopped the fight after just 50 seconds. Master Zhang sprawled on the canvas, facing not just physical defeat, but the crumbling of his carefully constructed mystique. His students watched in stunned silence as their master's claims of energy manipulation evaporated under the harsh spotlight of actual combat. From manipulation to fists of fury, this next Tai Chi bout with the boxer is anything but calm. Number 7. Kung Fu Master versus Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Fighter.
The Kung Fu stylist's only chance is to keep the distance and stay on his feet.
In 2018, a fascinating showdown took place when Master Le Waiyi, a renowned expert in northern Shaolin Kung Fu, confidently declared that his traditional striking techniques could defeat any ground fighting style. This challenge caught the attention of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt Marcos Santos, setting the stage for an unforgettable battle between ancient Chinese martial arts and modern grappling techniques. Master Lu's impressive demonstrations of complex forms and lightning-fast strikes had garnered him a substantial following. He constantly showcased spectacular aerial kicks and complex hand techniques passed down through generations. He particularly emphasized his unbreakable horse stance, which he claimed would prevent any takedown attempts. However, the reality of the match turned out to be very different from what was expected. Within 30 seconds of their fight starting, Santos closed the distance and rendered Lee's striking range ineffective. A swift, double-leg takedown shattered the myth of the unbreakable stance, bringing the fight into Santos's territory. On the ground, Lee's years of experience in standing combat became useless. Santos systematically broke through Lee's defenses, moving between dominant positions while Lee desperately tried to strike from his back. The Kung Fu Master's graceful techniques, which looked so impressive in demonstrations, did not affect Santos's relentless pressure. An armbar submission forced Lee to tap out just under 3 minutes into the first round. Number 6. Karate Black Belt versus Fake Aikido Master. An Aikido Grandmaster thought his art was invincible, but his next opponent showed him that traditional moves don't always cut it in a real fight. A self-proclaimed Aikido master, known for his flashy demonstrations with compliant students, stepped into the spotlight to prove his skills against a seasoned karate black belt. This particular Aikido practitioner had built quite a following through social media, showcasing seemingly impossible throws and joint locks that left his willing participants flying through the air with theatrical grace. His carefully curated demonstrations painted a picture of effortless mastery, gentle redirections of energy that sent attackers tumbling, wrist locks that appeared to immobilize opponents instantly, and defensive techniques that made him appear untouchable. These performances drew thousands of views online, convincing many viewers of his supposed supernatural abilities. However, reality struck hard when he faced off against a legitimate karate black belt in an unscripted match. The difference between choreographed demonstrations and actual combat became immediately apparent. The Aikido master's signature moves, which had looked so impressive in demonstrations, proved completely ineffective against the karate practitioner's direct strikes and combinations. The fight revealed several critical failures as his attempted wrist locks found only air, while the karate fighter delivered precise strikes. His trademark energy redirection techniques failed to affect his opponent. Within minutes, the Aikido master's carefully constructed facade crumbled under a barrage of basic but effective karate techniques. The karate black belt's years of full contact, Sparring experience proved decisive against techniques that had never been pressure-tested against resisting opponents. It seems like Aikido's secrecy isn't as powerful as it claims. Here's what happened when it met the brute force of a street fighter. Number 5, Tai Chi master vs. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu expert.
Probably got about 10 kilos on the yang guy.
In a highly anticipated showdown, the calm and peaceful art of Tai Chi faced off against the practical and effective Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. This match left martial arts fans questioning long-held beliefs about traditional Chinese martial arts. Master Liu Chen, a respected figure in the Tai Chi community with over 3 decades of experience, faced off against Marcus Silva, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt holder with a proven competition record. The match began with Liu trying to keep his distance using traditional Tai Chi hand movements and stances. He seemed confident in his ability to redirect energy and maintain balance, but Silva had different plans. Within minutes, Silva closed the distance and executed a double-leg takedown, sending Liu crashing to the mat. Liu's attempts to flow like water were ineffective against Silva's technical pressure. His defensive movements, while visually appealing, offered no real resistance against basic BJJ positional control. The ending came quickly as Silva transitioned from a mount position to an armbar. Liu's traditional responses to the submission hold, attempting to use chi energy and circular movements, proved useless against the mechanical leverage of proper Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu technique. This encounter sparked heated discussions across martial arts communities worldwide. Many traditional practitioners argued that modern sports fighting fails to capture the essence of ancient arts, while others pointed to this match as evidence that combat effectiveness requires pressure testing against resisting opponents. It's time for the Magic Finger Master to face his biggest test yet. Let's see if a single finger can stand up to a full-on fighter. Number 4, Wing Chun practitioner versus Muay Thai fighter. In the heart of Bangkok, a clash between tradition and raw power left the Wing Chun expert gasping for air. In a dimly lit gym in Bangkok, the Wing Chun expert stepped into the ring, radiating confidence in his system's close-range combat effectiveness. His traditional stance and hand-trapping techniques had served him well in controlled demonstrations, yet reality painted a different picture. From the opening bell, the Muay Thai fighter's devastating leg kicks disrupted the Wing Chun practitioners' narrow stance. The traditional blocks, designed for straight-line attacks, proved inadequate against the Thai boxer's curved strikes and devastating roundhouse kicks. Each attempted Chi Sao technique was met with brutal knee strikes and crushing elbows. The Wing Chun fighter's chain punches, a hallmark of the style, found little success against the Muay Thai guard. His attempts to close the distance were met with precise timing and thunderous counterstrikes. The Thai clinch, a position Wing Chun rarely addresses, became a zone of absolute dominance for the Muay Thai fighter. Within 3 minutes, the Wing Chun practitioner's theoretical defense crumbled under the raw power and battle-tested techniques of Muay Thai. A perfectly timed knee to the midsection ended the contest, leaving spectators to question the practicality of Wing Chun's traditional approach in modern combat scenarios. With the Wing Chun fighter defeated, a Tai Chi master steps forward to test his art. Now let's look at the subscribers' pick. In the heart of Shanghai, under the watchful eyes of a captivated crowd, 2 fighters face off in a moment charged with intensity. On one side, a young martial artist stands poised, confidence radiating from his stance. Opposite him, dressed in a humble orange robe, a calm and mysterious figure bows with hands pressed together in respect. He didn't realize that this man was the most powerful kung fu master, a true kung fu master, whose strength and skill are legendary. Who do you think would win in this unexpected showdown? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Number 3. Tai Chi energy practitioner versus boxer.
Fighting genre. Who would win between two good fighters of different disciplines?
In a pivotal moment for traditional martial arts, a self-claimed Tai Chi master confidently stepped into a makeshift ring, believing that his mystical energy manipulation techniques would defeat conventional boxing. The master, who had spent years teaching students about the power of Qi and its ability to control opponents without physical contact, accepted a challenge from an amateur boxer with just 5 years of training. The pre-fight exhibition presented an intriguing scene. The Tai Chi master waved his hands in smooth motions, asserting he could generate invisible shields and energy zones capable of fending off any assailant. His students would fall dramatically at his slightest gesture, apparently overwhelmed by his powerful Qi manipulation. However, the actual fight told a completely different story. Within seconds of the opening bell, the amateur boxer closed in on the Tai Chi master with a simple jab-cross combination. The Tai Chi master's attempts to redirect energy proved useless against real punches. His elaborate hand movements meant nothing as solid hooks connected with his jaw. The boxer, showing remarkable restraint, landed several clean shots before the master crumpled to the canvas, ending the fight in less than 30 seconds. The aftermath sent shockwaves through the martial arts community. Video footage of the fight went viral, garnering millions of views and countless comments ridiculing the concept of energy manipulation. Number 2. Magic Finger Master vs. MMA Fighter. The martial arts world has seen many outrageous claims, but few are as bold as Master Li Fang's magic finger technique. In 2019, Li confidently announced that he could control his opponent's energy pathways with just one touch of his finger, making them powerless through what he called spiritual disruption. Li's demonstrations usually featured willing students who would dramatically collapse or freeze at the slightest touch of his finger. His videos went viral and caught the attention of Zhang Wei, a professional MMA fighter with a record of 12 wins and 2 losses, who publicly challenged Li's supernatural claims. The fight took place in a gymnasium in Beijing, attracting hundreds of spectators eager to see if Li really had mystical powers. Li entered wearing traditional robes and confidently showing off his signature finger movements, while Zhang wore simple MMA shorts and hand wraps. As the fight started, Li tried to use his magic finger technique by dramatically pointing at Zhang's pressure points, but Zhang quickly responded with a jab that landed squarely on Li's face. Shocked by the failure of his technique, Li struggled to keep calm, while Zhang unleashed a flurry of strikes that overwhelmed him. In less than a minute, Zhang managed to take Li down and completely neutralize any supposed spiritual powers. The fight ended with Li tapping out to a basic armbar, proving that real fighting skills are more effective than any mystical abilities. It seems like ninjutsu's secrecy isn't as powerful as it claims. Here's what happened when it met the brute force of a street fighter. Number 1. Ninjutsu practitioner versus kickboxer. Ninjutsu practitioners have long captivated audiences with tales of supernatural abilities and ancient combat techniques. One such practitioner, armed with the confidence of centuries-old traditions, stepped into the ring against a seasoned kickboxer, a decision that would strip away the layers of mystique surrounding this secretive art. The ninjutsu fighter looked promising and ready to demonstrate the devastating effectiveness of ancient ninja techniques. His arsenal included supposedly lethal finger strikes, pressure point attacks, and evasive maneuvers passed down through generations of secret scrolls. When the match began, it became clear that things weren't going as planned for the ninjutsu practitioner. The kickboxer's precise jabs and powerful leg kicks quickly found their target. Each attempted death touch or shadow strike from the ninjutsu fighter was met with brutal counterattacks. Traditional stances crumbled under the raw power of modern fighting techniques. Within minutes, it became painfully obvious that theoretical combat knowledge didn't stand up against practical fighting experience. The match ended with the ninjutsu practitioner huddled against the ropes, unable to cope with the relentless barrage of strikes. In our final fight, a pressure point expert is about to realize that sometimes pure strength is the only thing that matters. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.